In today's video, I'm going to show you how I turn a mix from here
I found a world of freedom.
to this sound
I am a child of love.
all the way to this with just 3 plugins. Stay on this video. Welcome friends to Music Gear for Worship, where we review gear and make easy tutorials for worship. My name is Carlos Anthony and I want to welcome to this video where I found an easy way to do an entire mix for a live stream or to mix your worship set to upload to YouTube. So let's talk about the 3 plugins I'm going to be using. Actually 4 plugins, but 3 are the main ones from iZotope. I'm going to use Nectar, Neutron, and Ozone. And as a bonus, I'm going to be using Tone Balance too. Now let's get into the computer so you can hear again the sound. So here in my computer, you can see I already have all my tracks and I color coded them. And also I did a little bit of mixing before I start using the plugins. So as you can see in my drums, I start panning the kick slightly from left to right. The hi-hats or the overheads are straight, hard right, hard left, or 100% right, 100% left. The bass is also panned in the same direction as the kick drum, a little bit to the left, 21%. The guitar is 31% to the right. I mean, it doesn't matter. But something that I find really cool that I've been using on our Nord is 64% left and right on the piano and 100% left and right on the pad. Then we have our vocals or worship leader. He's right at center. And then everyone else that is a backup, it's either 28 to 30% to 50% pan. So his wife, his wonderful wife, is pan 28% left. And then our other female singer is 52% to the right. And the next male vocalist is 26% mixed to the right. It's not exact. It's just whatever sounds good as I'm mixing. Everything else that we're not using, it's just muted. And then we have our tracks and our click track, which is muted. I don't need the click track, but also they're panned left to right. Here, for all the instruments, I'm using Neutron. So drums go on Neutron, bass goes on Neutron, the electric guitar, the Nord, and the tracks go on Neutron 4. And for the vocals, I'm using Nectar 3 to run their vocals. It comes with Auto-Tune and the reverb. I'm not using any delay right now, but I think it sounded pretty good. And from here, at the end of the signal chain, to mash everything together, to grab everything we created and make it sound a little bit better, I'm using Ozone and the master signal chain. And at the end, I'm using tonal balance to try to hit a certain let's say a reference track that we might have or that is playing. I try to play it with it, and that way I can get a sound curve so I can try to match it, okay? But that's not important right now. Right now, we just want to get, how do we get this mix to sound good? All right. So as I was saying, I already did a little bit of mixing, a little bit of leveling. So I pan the first thing I do is I check my levels and everything. Nothing is at 0. So if you can see, the drums have different levels, the vocals, anything that I'm using, I find a good placement. Then I do the panning, and that makes a huge difference. From there, I start using the plugins, and it's just as easy as to, let's say, solo this track right here, and you turn it on and use the assist. Once you turn on the assist, it will tell you what you think it is. And then from there, you just tell it it's a kick drum, or is this, is that. Don't go into the settings just yet, but at least get all your tracks that have the plugin to be accurate. If you just turn on the assist and it doesn't tell you anything and you just leave it alone, it might want to do what it thinks it is. And since our microphones are bleeding in, it might think there's an entire drum set, but it's not. So that's an amazing tool. So that's what I did with every single track. So let's grab all the drums. And I also color coded them. So that's a huge help. So everything is in orange. I don't have a system, so I just grabbed whatever I thought it was relevant at the moment. So let's turn on all the drums. Okay, let's turn on. Let's go in here and turn on neutron. All right, so that's a big difference there. Okay, and then I can start adding everything else. So let's grab and now turn on the bass. And let's turn on neutron. So if you can see here, you can change different things with it. In my opinion, it sounded a little bit better as a sub bass, but you can change it to whatever you think it sounds best for you. I think you should start with that. And then as you get more experience and you find the sound that you're looking for, just mess with it. It doesn't hurt anybody just to click the button and just hear the entire mix. If you want to mix each track individually, you're going to get to a certain point. So in this case, maybe deep bass will sound better. But in the entire of the mix, I think sub bass sounds way better with the drums. So that is kind of the learning curve. What sounds good individual versus what sounds good in the entire mix. All right, so from here, let's grab the electric guitar and let's turn it on. Let's solo this. Let's turn on the plug-in. And now what I need to start adding is just turn on neutron on the keys. Hear the difference. And let's turn on neutron on the tracks. If you can hear, it's just cutting through a little bit more. Not too much, but just enough. So once I have kind of like the drums and everything that is driving the track, I start working on vocals. This is without the band.
Love, I'm gonna climb a mountain. I'm gonna shout about it. I am a child of love.
Okay, and let's turn on Nectar, and this is what they sound like.
Love, I'm gonna climb a mountain. I'm gonna shout about it. I am a child of love.
Okay, so now let's turn on the band and let's turn on the plugins on the vocals. Whoopsie. Let's go 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is without the plugin.
Love, I'm gonna climb a mountain. I'm gonna shout about it. I am a child of love.
Okay, now let's turn on the plugin. 2, 3, and 4. And look at the difference.
Love, I'm gonna climb a mountain. I'm gonna shout about it. I am a child of love.
Okay, so since the plugin changes the sound a little bit, then I just adjust the level according to each vocal, depending what sounds better. And also you can pan it a little bit more left or right. And the plan or the goal is that you can hear the entire mix. You know, that's the reason why I do a little bit, sometimes a little bit of panning and sometimes a lot of panning. In this case, I think it sounds great. The male vocal, I'm just going to turn it a little bit more to 43. And I'm going to keep this one here. And I think for the second female lead, I'm going to put it 34%. The male vocal, I'm going to turn it 50% in the other direction. it's gonna sound like this.
I'm gonna climb a mountain. I'm gonna shine about it. I am a child of love.
Now it sounds a little bit better. I'm able to hear a little bit of the male vocalist a little bit more to the left, and that can make a difference whether you hear it or not. Let's talk about Ozone 10. Right now it's off, and I'm gonna turn it on so you can see the huge difference it makes.
I'm gonna climb a mountain. I'm gonna shine about it. I am a child of love. I found a world of freedom. I found a friend in Jesus.
So this makes the mix sound a lot bigger, a lot louder. Not necessarily very loud, but just loud enough that it's going to cut through in a mix, especially if people are hearing it on a phone and not necessarily with a sound system. It's going to cut through a little bit better. Now, I want to talk about the great features that are in these plugins. And one of them, especially with tone balance, is that you can select a source that you can control separately. So here, I'm controlling the equalizer for the entire mix. Let me turn on Ozone. And if I go in the details, you got two windows, one for the assist. And right here, you can change the genre you want to use. You want to use pop, you want to use reggae. Let me turn it on just so you can hear where it sounds from rock to pop. So that's the difference. But here, with this equalizer, if I go into the details of the signal chain and I go to equalizer 1, if you check this out, I'm able to control how much EQ I want it, especially if I already have a reference of a track. Let's say I want a little bit more bass. I turn it here. You see how it's controlling Ozone? Okay, I'm going to go back and leave it alone the way it was. This is a great feature from Ozone and Tone Balance to be able to match, let's say, a reference track and without having to go through all the details in Ozone. But there's another two great features of Neutron and Nectar. So what I usually do, I just stick to modern and moderate, and I just tell it to assist me. But since I already have it, I don't need it. But if I go to the second one, once I have my first one and I go to my vocal assist, then I will use the unmask. And this feature, I go in here and I tell the source. In this case is my track 19. I just look for it and I tell them, this is the one that you're going to use as main reference. You put next, moderate and moderate if you want to be a little bit more aggressive. But I think vintage or modern are the best ones that I found. Aggressive is more for like dialogue, or you can do very light if your singer is like right on. You can use light. But for most of it, I think moderate, it's really good. I just tweak some of the features after. Okay, so let's escape that. Same. I put my correction, and this one is at 24%. It's just I leave it alone, and it's on chromatic. Thing is out of detect. All right, I just leave it alone. Okay, so let's turn this off. And yeah, that's basically the entire mix. Now, the only reason that I don't have delay in this particular mix is because, you know, you can use it if you're going to have a tap tempo, or you can create a send and return. I think that that would be the best way. In the future, I'm going to tell you a couple more plugins that I really like to enhance this even better with another reverb and another delay. But if you want to use delay, all you have to do is go on Nectar and go to the last block. You always going to have one more, and you can just here drop a delay for the vocals. I just usually leave it on analog because I think it sounds great, but there's a huge and amazing feature that this plugin has. And I'll show you in a second. So let me turn it on and let's hear it sounding. It's going to be very dramatic, but I'm going to lower it down. So I'm going to take you a little bit of the process of adding this delay. Okay, so let's just focus on Matthew. See, that's way too much delay. Okay, let's lower it to just a little bit. I'm gonna climb a mountain. I'm gonna shout about it. Okay, so what this plugin and also the reverb, it has an EQ, so you can cut all the frequencies that you do not want on that reverb or in that delay. And I think that is amazing. So I look at the curve I have for reverb, and I'm gonna do the same for the delay. And as I play with it, watch the difference. I'm gonna climb a mountain. I'm gonna shout about it. I am a child of love. I found a word of freedom. I found a friend in Jesus. I am a child of love. I'm gonna climb a mountain. I'm gonna shout about. So that makes it sound a little bit better. It's very minimal, but once you put it all together, I'm gonna climb a mountain. And I'm gonna turn it on the same for all the vocalists. So just go in there, put the delay, I just drop it very low, just a little bit. I turn on my EQ here, and I do it around maybe a little bit less dramatic on the female. I just go around 1K. It's basically a low pass filter and a high pass filter, just very zoned out in that direction. And if I look at the reverb, you can see the same. It's around 600, and this one's around 3K. So let's do the same 600 and around 3K. Just leave them there. Okay. And let's do the same for the next one. Let's go all the way down. Let's watch the reverb. Same 3K, 600. They have another one, a little dip around 1K, but I'm going to leave it alone. Let's go delay. Let's go 600. Let's grab this one at 3K. Let's grab the delay, bring it down just a little bit around there. And let's do the same for the last one. Let's go down, reverb, 600, 3K. Okay, so let's go delay. Grab 600. Let's go around 3K. Do a little bit more. And let's drop this delay just a little. I just need a little bit. And I'm going to solo each one of them. I'm going to climb a mountain. I'm going to shout about it. I am a child of love. I found a world of freedom. I found a friend in Jesus. I am a child of love. To climb a mountain. I'm going to shout about it. I am a child of love. I'm going to climb the mountain. I'm going to shout about it. I am a child of love. I found a world of freedom. I found a friend in Jesus. I am a child of love. All right, Matt has the most. Let me go in there and just grab that delay and drop it a little bit more. I'm gonna climb a mountain. I'm gonna shout about it. I am a child of love. Okay, that sounds pretty good. It's just a little bit, just to create a little bit more ambience on it. I hope that this wasn't too difficult. There's lots of tutorials how to run Neutron and Nectar, and they can do a better job than I can. But I just wanted to tell you about this amazing tool that I found. I hope you like this video. I'm not too savvy with sound. I don't know a lot about it. I'm not an expert, but this is the easiest way that I found to get a good or decent If you agree with me, maybe you don't, and that's okay. But at least it got me to a position where now, when I look at what Neutron and Nectar is doing, I've been finding a lot of learning just by watching what it does from Sunday to Sunday. And that is helping me to also understanding EQing, compression. It has a de-esser, how to use the auto-tune. And if you have volunteers that have no idea, I think this could be your best bet to grab an okay sound and turn it a little bit better so it doesn't sound so dry. Thank you, friends, for staying in this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it, especially if you hit the bell icon so YouTube lets you know every time we make new videos. If you need a little bit of coaching or you need help with more resources, let me know. I would love to share this software with you or this plugins. All right, friends, stay blessed, and I'll see you in another video. Ciao.